Fat Joe once claimed that he robbed his entire high school gym, 70 kids, without even pulling out a gun. He said he walked in, demanded everyone's coats and Walkmans, and collected so much that he couldn't carry it all himself. According to him, some of the very kids he was robbing had to help him haul the loot out. Long ago, Fat Joe admitted that 95% of his rhymes were lies, and people saw that as the first honest thing he had ever said about himself. Joe has always been known for his wild, cinematic storytelling, spinning casual conversations into movie-like scenes. But over the years, fans and even insiders started asking the big question: how much of his legendary storytelling is real? Some even started calling him Tino, short for Tell It, Never Obey the Truth, because he seems to always sprinkle Hollywood glitter over his stories. Sure, his charisma makes every tale captivating, but somewhere along the way, his stories began to sound less believable, and that infamous high school robbery story became the perfect example. Joe swears he robbed the entire gym, every student, without a weapon. Just his presence, he says, was enough to intimidate 70 kids into giving up their belongings without resistance. He even claimed he stole so much that some of his victims helped him carry it out. Content creator Will Mills broke it down and said what everyone was thinking: it sounds impossible. A Bronx high school gym is chaotic. Teachers, whistles, bouncing balls everywhere. The idea of one guy robbing 70 kids without anyone resisting, running, or calling for help seems like an urban fairy tale. Mills said maybe Joe did rob a couple kids, which is believable, but the idea of 70+ getting help from them to carry the loot is just too much. This isn't the only Fat Joe story that people have called out. He once claimed Tupac personally called him from prison for protection after Joe supposedly stirred up Puerto Rican inmates with his comments on the radio. Joe said they squashed it peacefully and that he even sent word through his guy Charlie Rock to look out for Pac inside. But Tupac's cousin, William Lesane, called Cap, explaining that Pac was respected in prison and surrounded by heavy hitters who looked out for him. In fact, Pac was moved into segregation not because he was weak, but because prison staff wanted to avoid drama due to his influence. The idea that Tupac was under pressure and needed Fat Joe to protect him didn't make sense at all. Another claim from Joe involved Big Pun's family. Joe painted himself as a hero, saying he financially supported Pun's widow after Pun passed. He said he gave her money, helped her start a business, and made sure she was secure. But activist Gangu Roach exposed another story, accusing Joe of actually stealing Pun's royalties for 14 years. He claimed Joe sent fake royalty statements, working with music executive Jellybean Benitez to make it look legit. Pun's widow confirmed Joe never gave her a dime and had to be dragged into court to expose what really happened. Yet, Joe went on interviews and insisted no court case ever existed. Joe's storytelling extended to the notorious B.I.G. too. In 2023, Joe claimed he and Biggie recorded a full album together, 8 to 10 songs filled with Tupac diss. But fans quickly noticed contradictions. In 2018, Joe said it was 4 songs. In 2021, he said 5, and Biggie's close friend Lil Cease flat out denied it, saying Biggie never recorded diss tracks against Tupac and didn't want Junior Mafia doing so either. Cease insisted he never saw Joe record with Biggie, and Cuban Link backed this up, saying Joe exaggerated a single studio session into a mythical album. Joe also got blasted for trying to take credit for helping Trick Daddy and Pitbull get their record deals. Uncle Luke, a Miami legend, immediately called him out, explaining he discovered and signed them himself and even had receipts. Trick Daddy confirmed it, saying East Coast and Southern rappers weren't even cool at that time, making Joe's claim unbelievable. Fans accused Joe of rewriting hip-hop history and downplaying the contributions of black pioneers. On top of all this, rumors that Joe was a snitch have followed him for years. He's denied it repeatedly, but his denials often feel rehearsed and lacking evidence, leaving people skeptical. Despite still being a respected name in hip-hop, Joe's tall tales, contradictions, and public call-outs have undeniably damaged his reputation.